Howdy folks, and welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another tutorial episode of War in the East 2, and probably welcome to the most important tutorial amongst the ones that I have already uploaded on the channel. And this is because depots are really one of the pillar of every campaign that you do, that you unleash on the Eastern Front. And depots basically are those logistics infrastructures that allow you to accumulate, to first of all receive, accumulate, and send out freight. And already in the previous tutorials we have seen some depots. Namely, we have already discussed about the national supply source, and we have discussed about import and export ports. Now, when you activate the logistics map, all depots will appear on the map, and all depots are easily identifiable by the presence of this circle with the symbol, this inverted triangle, and the presence of these let's say 3 or 4 colored bars on top of the base of the triangle. The national supply source is defined as a type 4 depot. Depots are basically there are basically 4 types of depot, and I know that this can be very confusing. Honestly, I don't know why the developers added this information, because for me at the beginning it was very confusing because I was confounding the type of depot with the number here. There are 4 types of depot. The type 4 depots are the national supply sources, and the type 3 depots are the export ports, type 2 depots are the import ports, while type 1 depots are the we can call them the rail yards, depots. The number, and of course, yeah, the type can be kind of easily identifiable by the symbol inside this circle, while the number inside this inverted triangle refers to the priority of the depot. Now, the priority is the key factor that dictates the flow of freight towards your frontline units. The freight, as we've seen, gets transported to the NSS, and then from the NSS it is sent out, and in particular is sent out to the priority 1 depots, whether they are export ports or rail yard depots. The priority 1 depots will send the freight to the priority 2, the priority 2 to the priority 3, and priority 3 to the priority 4. And this is basically the flow of the freight from the NSS to the priority 4 depots, and of course the priority 4 will send it to the frontline units. You can change the priority of a depot if you can by simply right-clicking, either by right-clicking and going to the type depot and changing here the priority. Of course, you cannot change the priority of your national supply source depot. This is always and will always be set to level 0, or vice versa. You can select a depot and you can click here on this inverted triangle and you can change here the priority. The concept of priority is very intuitive, because basically the higher the number, the higher the priority. How do you create depot? Well, we might have seen this already in the same menu. You can click first of all on any hex containing a railway, because depots must be created on railways only, and you can right click and you can select the option build depot. Otherwise, you can also click on this brown inverted triangle, and keep in mind that building depots consumes 1 administrative point per depot. The other option, and I must say I highly recommend this option for the people who are not willing to micromanage their logistics, is to use the AI depot manager. I must say, having played already with this game from the very beginning, from version 1.0.0, I must say that the AI is extremely good in setting up depots. And honestly, I must say that the AI even exaggerates in creating depots. And yeah, this is about the creation and about the I would say not the destruction but the disbandment of depots. Depots can be disbanded at any time by going here and selecting the option to disband depot. When a depot is disbanded, the freight that was left in this depot will be sent away to neighboring depots via railway. Some freight will be lost, and this portion of the freight lost mimics the let's say destruction of ammunitions and burning of fuel left. And some freight will also be used by the vehicles which are in this depot, which of course will be relocated to other depots in the next logistics phase. There is also the option to kind of capture enemy depots, and the why is it okay? And the mechanic is similar. You can capture them. You will capture the majority of the trucks. You can capture some freight. Some freight will be eventually lost. We've mentioned about the creation of depots, and I just wanted to go back to this topic for one second, because there are a few information that are really critical for this. Where you want to create your depots. I said that you need to select any hex carrying a railway line, but that's not all, because there are some places, and namely hexes carrying rail yards, that will give you an advantage. If you build a depot over an hex containing a rail yard, I would call it the depot efficiency will increase. And the depot efficiency means the capacity to unload and load freight. But that's not all, because if you create a depot on a rail yard of level 2 or above, you will increase the depot capacity. Depot's maximum capacity is 60,000 tons. So of course, if you create, let's say, a depot in Grudziądz, which has a rail yard of level 1, this depot will have a capacity of 10,000 tons. If you create a depot in Warsaw, this depot will have a capacity of 50,000 tons. Now, the depot capacity also affects the number of trucks that can be, let's say, allotted to this depot. And the number of trucks is always, let's say, 1/10 of the total capacity, which means that the depot in Warsaw will have the capacity to host 5,000 trucks. Let's have a look at the wrong map. At the kind of the pop-up window in regard to the depots. And also, let's talk about these 3 bars. If you activate the logistics map and you hover the mouse on top of a depot, you will see all of the information that you need. So depot is a rail yard depot, so is a type 1 depot, and the type is always listed here in brackets. Trucks is the number of vehicles, so yeah, trucks present in this depot, and freight is the total amount of freight that this depot has in storage in after the previous logistics phase. Rail indicates the rail capacity, so it's 50,000 out of 50,000, so no capacity was used. And then we have the more information about the freight. I've chosen, I think this is pronounced Uch, not Lodz, but Uch in Polish. And the information in the logistics freight will indicate, first of all, the amount of freight in tons that this depot has received, and the amount of freight received corresponds to the green bar. Yeah, so basically these three these three colored bars correspond to the three actions of this depot: the amount of freight received, the amount of freight stored, and the amount of freight sent out. In this case, we have 4,000 tons of freight received. We have 16,500 tons of freight stored. And in brackets, we have the amount of freight that was stored in this depot at the beginning of the previous turn. And I've chosen Uch because it's the math is very easy and it's quite easy to follow. If you had 12,500 tons of freight and you add 4,000, well, you get 16,500. And of course, in percentage, is the percentage compared to the total capacity of the depot. This depot didn't send out anything, so it doesn't have the red bar, and it didn't lose any ton of freight during the let's say supply phase. Capacity is 50,000 out of 50,000 because the capacity is let's say affected by the damage of the rail yard. In this case, the rail yard is fully operational, so there is no reduction. And then unit track use. I can mention this here. We will come back to it in, I think, in the next tutorial. But this indicates whether and how many I would say unit-derived trucks were used to grab supplies, grab freight from this specific depot. And in the last line, Breslau 4000 R, the R indicates the receiver depot, which means that the 4,000 tons of freight that this depot received in this turn came directly from Breslau. So here there is no depot, so I assume that the freight from Breslau came directly from Berlin. So we've seen these three colored bars, but what does the black bar indicate? Well, the black bar indicates the capacity of the depot. I've mentioned that the capacity of the depot cannot go over 60,000, and it is influenced by the level of the rail yard in which the depot is. And of course, if you build depots like here, this one here in Warsaw, you see there is a rail yard level 5, so your depot has a capacity of 50,000. But there is another way to kind of, I wouldn't say artificially increase, but to increase your depot's capacity. And this way is via unit HQs. Okay, so I went back in the editor just to make it easy for me to explain things. But yes, so the ground elements, so the support elements of the HQs, when such HQs are placed on an hex containing a depot, they will kind of maximize. First of all, we can imagine like the space in which all the freight is stored in this depot, and because maybe they are more qualified than the standard logistics personnel, they will always find a way to gain some more space, of course, without going above 60,000 tons. And namely, HQ, Army Corps HQ units will increase by 5,000 a depot capacity. Like we can see here, the Lukov depot has a capacity of 10,000. If we move the Army Corps HQ, it goes up to 15,000, so it's 5,000. If we move the army, any army HQ, we have the we will increase the capacity by 20,000. And if we will have an army group, or even the kind of the supreme command, we will increase the capacity by 35,000. Of course, you can never go above 60,000, and I can prove it by moving this one. So this is 45,000, it should be 65,000, but you see, actually this is now 50,000. Great. So yeah, you cannot go above 60,000 tons of capacity. But yeah, so this is one way to increase the capacity. And also HQs will again increase the depot efficiency, so the ability to send freight to the units, because of the, I would say, higher quality of the staff, of the officer staff. And there is one last unit that has an important role in playing around with depots, and these units are so-called the FBD for the Axis, and the NKPS for the Soviets. These are primarily manual railway repair units. We will talk about this in a dedicated tutorial. But keep in mind that when these units are stationed on a depot for one entire turn and they do not move, they will, besides increasing the efficiency of loading and loading freight, they will kind of act as magnets for freight. They have the power to, let's say, grab more freight for the depot in which they're standing, compared to all of the neighboring depots. So this is kind of a very potent balance between the need of repairing your railways with these units and the need of maybe concentrating freight on a specific depot, because maybe this depot is critical for your, for instance, advance on Moscow. And talking about, let's say, advances and campaigns, I would say the tip and trick that I wanted to give you is how you manage the priority of your depots. Remember that the freight flows from priority 0 to priority 4. So if you want to, let's say, to prepare, if you're currently, I don't know, if you're currently pushing Leningrad, but you want to prepare the offensive against Moscow, one strategy that some Axis players like the Undersigned like to do is to have at least 2 or 3 kind of rows, or maybe they're just say, columns of level 4 depot. Because if you have, let's say, a level 4 depot here, here, and here, this one will be the first one to accumulate all the freight that will get from potentially level 3 and level 2 depots, let's say, westwards compared to this one. And what you could do is, when this depot is full or getting full, you can lower its priority to level 3, and therefore its freight will be sent to your next level 4 depot. And you can rinse and repeat the process to have, ideally, literally tons of freight quickly available for your frontline level 4 depots in case you need them urgently, or you have to prepare a rapid offensive. Yeah, that's all I had to tell you about depots. I hope you folks enjoyed the video, and yeah, as always, thank you very much for watching, thank you very much for supporting the channel, and yeah, stay tuned for more, because in the next tutorial we will conclude the logistic chapter, and we will see how do units grab freight from depots. Until then, my friends, I wish you all the best, stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next tutorial.